This is my test of a very interesting new light, the FloLight Blade. This is the 36-inch version. There's also an 18-inch tungsten or daylight. I'm testing the daylight here, and they have a BiColor coming soon. It's a really solid light, all metal, feels well made, and has removable barn doors for controlling spill and cutting the light. You can see the thin strip of LEDs that give this light its name running up the middle here. These deliver a long strip of light with a 120-degree spread. Has a double ball socket mount that allows you to twist and turn the light into any position, vertical, horizontal, or anywhere in between. You can boom this out on a C-stand arm, for example, and you could have pretty much any position you want. The light ships with this lens. It slots in to control the beam angle, and a gel holder with some diffusion. This slots in really easily, and I just recommend using it at all times because it evens out the light. I also cut up some Lee LED Zircon diffusion, which comes in various strengths, as well as some tungsten gel. The Zircon filters are thicker, so they slide in much easier. They also last a lot longer than regular gels. Initial quick test showed me that this light works best with some diffusion clipped to the barn doors. In this case I'm using Lee 250. It just spreads the light and gives cleaner shadows. You kind of end up with something that resembles a celeb. As you can see, the light is on a dimmer as with most LEDs, and for an LED this light is really bright. So I used my 4-year-old daughter to model as she works for ice cream, and for details of how I shot this, LUT used, etc, see my blog in the link. Very simple setup in my daughter's bedroom here. I'm using a flag opposite for negative fill as I wanted to see those shadows. First of all, I tested the light completely side on, my thinking being that I wanted to see how it wrapped. First thing I noticed about this light is the colour is nice for an LED. The photometrics say it's over 95, but I'm more interested in how the camera sees it. As you can see, it does a pretty good job of wrapping around the face. In this position it's creating some shadows that aren't great, but that's more down to having it so side on. What's interesting is the length of this light is essentially allowing it to wrap around the corner of the face, even in such an extreme side position. Moving it just a little more round to the front and it does a really good job of lighting the face. This is kind of showing the unique quality of this light as opposed to a 1x1 LED. You can pretty much use it as a key and fill, and a little bit of bounce from a pop-up reflector on the opposite side would take away that contrast, but personally I like contrast. It's basically doing what a large softbox does in terms of making that light wrap all the way around. So now I'm trying it out in the horizontal position, again from directly side on. You can see how it has evenly lit my daughter's full body. This is another unique way to use this light. You might not be lighting something like this very often, but it's nice to be able to just flip the light and get this. A more stylized look, but great tool to have. I also want to see what it would look like more around the front in this position, and as expected there's some odd shadows from the nose due to the light angle coming from above and below. However, if you stuck another one of these on the opposite side you'd get that very flat kind of look. This is the light now directly overhead in the classic kind of beauty light position. It does a decent job, although I'm not crazy about the straight catch light, but you know, maybe that's what you want. Again, a bounce reflector from below would take out most of those chin shadows. So this is where I'd naturally put this light for most interview setups, a bit higher into the side to get into that Rembrandt position. This is very close to what I'm used to seeing from a softbox. I use my 1K Refa light a lot to get a similar look. It definitely won't replace my Refa light, but I will use the blade in many situations because it's smaller, it's quick to set up, doesn't give off any heat, it's dimmable, it's very bright. And as the guys at FloLight have told me, they're actually developing a softbox so it'll get even closer to that look. One of the first things I thought when I saw this light is it would make a great backlight, and it does. I could have got this light in a better position, but you can see what it's doing here. Perfect for booming in with a C-stand to get that kind of even backlight right across the head and shoulders. So this is an interesting use. I've done a lot of full body pop star dancer type work where I mount a row of par cans vertically to get a full body nice even backlight. Shane Hurlbut told me about that one. It's a great technique. This light does this so well straight out of the box, and the barn doors mean I don't have to faff around with flags and I can get the light exactly where I want it. You can also join these lights on the vertical, so you could easily have a great full body 45-degree backlight with no hassle. Big thanks to my lovely daughter Iona for being so patient. So quickly testing a few other features of this light. In all honesty, I'm not entirely sure when I'd used this lens attachment, but you can see what it does. It pulls the beam from 120 to around 60 degrees in one slot and 20 degrees in the other, I believe. The guys at FloLight have told me they're actually developing different lenses for this, so we'll see what comes out in the near future. You can use the barn doors to make some nice hard cuts. With no diffusion, open face, you can see a little bit of colour fringing on the edge of the shadow. This is now with a bit of diffusion in the slot, which softens the edge a bit, but you can still do some really nice stuff with it. This for me is one of the best features of this light, its ability to very evenly flood a wall, great for lighting sites and green screen work, and I can definitely see these being used in the studio. So not had this light long enough to use it in the field and really get into what it can and can't do, but my first impressions are that I'm going to find lots and lots of uses for it. The huge plus for me is this light's versatility. It kind of feels like several lights in one, and for that reason it's definitely going to be part of my kit. I hope this test has been useful. Any questions at all, comment under the video.